When they leave the game tonight, it will feel like -25 and continue dropping. It's time for the hot cocoa. We are back inside 8:30 on this Sunday morning. Thanks for being with us, everyone. I'm Matt Smith.
And I'm Rebecca Schultz.
Take a look. This is the snow. If you've been watching, you've seen us outside, and now we're going to warm up. Des Moines Register says this morning it is decision day. Packers fans, hold your breath.
Okay.
He's a Falcons fan, so hence the name Bird Bath, the Atlanta Falcons. But he has a free pool. So don't judge. Good evening, everyone, from the White House, where it is a new week here in Washington. Do you know that? I mean, you obviously know that was an old proposal. They'll receive free hand warmers, free coffee and hot chocolate. Breaking news this morning out of the governor's office, where he is telling the Associated Press he plans to veto 57 measures. This is no ordinary water balloon fight. Look at this. Grant County, Lafayette County, Richland County, and Columbia County. Those were counties that Ron Johnson won. The biggest seller, the iPhone case. The two say they're selling about 1,000 a week. Why should Wisconsinites believe any proposal right now coming from the administration? Welcome back, everyone. We've been following that breaking news out of Green Bay this morning. Back to our live image. 23 fishermen who are out at sea are missing this morning. Basically, this is an issue you created because you didn't take them on. We found we needed to make some adjustments, like red 3-subject notebooks instead of yellow. Then the decline from 8,000 to 7,000 to 6,000. Yeah, Cami, a lead, but a very slight one. Cautious optimism was what the campaign is telling me. I just got done speaking to them a few minutes ago. They are watching the states, the numbers coming in from different counties. The northeast part of Wisconsin, where our viewers are watching, Eric Hovde is doing really well at this point, winning a majority of those counties. The campaign says they kind of expected that, not as well as they would like to do at this point, but they are confident. The reason why is once you get to the southern part of the county, they say they are doing well in the Madison area, up about 4,000 votes in Dane County. They are doing well in Milwaukee area. And then you look at Waukesha County, and that, of course, is a key Republican stronghold for the state. It is about tied. The latest numbers in have Tommy Thompson up by about 1 point. So cautious optimism here, I think, is going to be the statement as we go through the evening. It could be a long night. The Thompson campaign came under a number of attacks through this campaign. A lot of the candidates and even a lot of voters actually tried to question whether he was conservative enough, even some saying they wanted a candidate more conservative than the former governor of 14 years, Tommy Thompson. So the governor is here in a separate room with family and friends, and of course the campaign watching these results. The crowd is here hoping that the former governor will become a U.S. Senate candidate to take on Tammy Baldwin. For now, reporting live in Pewaukee, Matt Smith, Action 2 News. We want to get back to that breaking news we've been following out of Green Bay right now. We're going to go live to the scene where you're looking at images of the SWAT team. You have seen a man come out with his hands up. This is live, folks, right now. Police have been on the scene for several hours trying to get the man out of the house. You see him arrested, being placed into cuffs. The SWAT team has been on scene in the 1200 block of Mather Street for several hours. Our photographer on the scene several hours ago, probably about an hour ago, saw several people walk out he believed were children and a mother. This incident all happened around 3 o'clock this morning. Police say the suspect had a gun. There was an incident at a different location. After that, he came to this home in the Mather Street location where they are right now. He's been held up inside the home for several hours. Police were using a loudspeaker trying to get in touch with the man, telling him to come out. That lasted several hours, about 7:40, 7:45, somewhere in there. We saw people walk out of the home, but the man remained inside. Police were cautioning people in this area. Several blocks have been blocked off to stay inside their homes, not come in the area because they didn't know how dangerous the situation was going to get. As we're seeing unfold live on the air right now, it's looking like it's ending peacefully. The SWAT team is on scene along with Green Bay police, ensuring the safety of the public and ensuring that this does get transpired. We're going to continue to follow this story. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the latest details on the other side. Stay with us.
You're pretty excited, aren't you?
When life sets a timeline, priorities change.
I bet you it turns and then it goes that way.
The news 2 weeks ago, the cancer is growing and spreading fast.
I want to go. Okay, we're going. Oh, here comes another one.
Spreading smiles, they realize, became the only cure.
All right, you ready?
4-year-old Colton Steinhorst wanted to fly. He also wanted a trip to Disney, water parks, and to give a stranger flowers. So when strangers across the country started sharing a simple online post, they created a movement helping cure a little boy's soul.
So anyways, thank you for helping us get this whole entire thing set up and fulfilling everything on his bucket list.
Colton's bucket list is quickly being crossed off from the sidelines of the football field to the soccer field earlier tonight.
So 2 to 7 can start first.
Hundreds of people, thousands of balloons help fulfill Colton's wish of a massive water balloon fight.
To be totally honest, it's through a friend of a friend that we're actually here today. And we brought out our girls. We've made 100 balloons ourselves.
It's overwhelming, honestly. It's so awesome for so many people to come together that don't even know this family.
For the time left, friends, family, and strangers will try spreading smiles.
He's probably so excited. He was so excited.
Yet always mindful of the fact a bucket list should never be made by a 4-year-old.
We've had that conversation before, many a times when he was at that door before, and he knows that the angels in heaven would take care of him, and God is up there and lots of family and we'll be with him again. So, we just try to make it as easy as possible right now for him to understand.
Stories of our grandfathers sometimes fade away. What's left to tell?
Like give her hell, you had to make 5 feet a day.
Tom DiCarlo is telling.
January 1st of 1950, I went to mine.
The 86-year-old miner dresses in the best of times.
I tell him what I went through to raise my 3 boys and my wife and pay my bills. I went underground to work.
He dresses for the best of times because Iron County has seen better days.
2 of my grandfathers, both my grandfathers, 6 of my uncles all worked in the iron mines.
Like many along the Gogebic Range, Leslie Colasar's long lineage starts and stops here.
We're old, and we're poor, and we're few in number.
The trains no longer stop outside Hurley, the county seat. Decades ago, trails replaced the tracks that once shipped hundreds of millions of tons of iron ore across the country. The minerals, once rich in prosperity, left only as a guide.
But see, these guys got smart. They got out of here.
Census data shows the drop when the mines brought more than 10,000 people in the 40s. Then the decline from 8,000 to 7,000 to 6,000. Then in 2010, Iron County's population dropped below 6,000 people, less than 6,000 in the entire county.
Maybe we kind of knew it, but when the real numbers hit you, it's like, oh, that hurts.
The elementary school in Hurley sees some incoming classes in the 30s. Not many more graduating in the high school, sometimes half the size of their parents. I want you to raise your hand if you think you will see yourself in this area in 10 years. 2 of you.
Our greatest export here is our youth, my family included.
There's a lot more jobs in the cities than there is back home. And as you can tell, there's less kids in the classes, there's less parents having kids here, and it's just shrinking.
When he's completed with college, we don't expect him back. And that's tough to take.
In Iron County, those who have stayed make an average $25,000 a year. Tourism and logging provide the few jobs available. The county's unemployed, the second highest in the state.
Lots of people apply for the good jobs around here when they're available.
Since the 1920s, the Liberty Bell in downtown Hurley has maintained a business and kept a family.
We actually both left and went to school, so we chose to come back.
Now, for the first time in decades, hope rises from stories past that the jobs of their grandfathers could once again be theirs.
If there was jobs around here, I'd definitely love to stay just because I love the area.
As the red iron fades, left only to history.
That's the iron ore. So actually this blueprint probably was underground.
A new era of mining could return Hurley's Silver Street to gold.
We got some good talent. The young kids here, they're going to come back.
In Iron County, Matt Smith, Action 2 News. They're about an hour into it. They're warmed up, even if it's about 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know running weather better than I do.
Yeah,
so.
they've got a little sweat going on by this
Probably.
point. Both runners, they got started at 7 o'clock, the full and the half marathons. Within the next few minutes, we expect some of the elite runners to finish the half marathon already. Jennifer Ann Wilson joins us live at Riverside Park in Neenah. That's where the finish line is. Jennifer, you're going to be one of the first to cheer them on this morning. I hear the music pumping. All right, Jennifer, we'll check back in with you. Some runners get to the course. Thanks so much for those live reports in Neenah this morning. Just some other news this morning. The 1-on-1 Packers look to keep last week's momentum riding into Cincinnati. Tricia Whitaker is in the Queen City with a preview of today's action. Hi, Tricia. All right, Tricia, everyone will be checking on that this morning. Kickoff today at noon at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. Coming up a little bit later in sports, we're going to hear from quarterback Aaron Rodgers as he tries to duplicate last week's stellar performance. Of course, join us for Action 2 News at 5:30 and at 10 for all of the post-game coverage of today's game. For the second time this month, the downtown Appleton Farmers Market is the epicenter of a gun law debate in northeast Wisconsin. Earlier this month, 2 men legally carried semi-automatic weapons strapped to their backs in downtown Appleton. They were briefly detained by police, sparking some strong reaction from both sides of that gun debate. Then, yesterday morning, an Appleton man carried a live hen through the market. In Appleton, that carries a fine of about $200. His goal was to continue the conversation in the community about open carry gun laws. He's done just that. A Door County cherry grower is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of whoever damaged hundreds of his trees. Here's some video from James Sequist, owner of Sequist Orchards near Sister Bay. He says more than 600 young trees were chopped off about 1.5 feet above the ground. Sequist says he believes it happened about between 8:30 Wednesday night and 5 o'clock Thursday afternoon. He says he's probably going to have to remove what's left of the trees and then replant all of them next year. He estimates damages from this to be about $20,000. With fall right upon us, winter right around the corner, a group of volunteers are doing their part to make life a little easier for dozens of people in our area. Members of the Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 400 spent the day yesterday checking homes for those in need and the elderly. Their mission is to leave each home prepared for a long and cold Wisconsin winter by using donated parts to replace things like heaters, fire extinguishers, and furnaces. In all, the group checked about 80 homes across northeast Wisconsin. 2 motorcyclists can rest this morning after finishing a 12-day, more than 10,000-mile journey to the four corners of America, surrounded by friends and family in front of the Freedom House, a Green Bay homeless shelter. The 2 men, known as the Road Warriors, made their triumphant return from the road. Their goal was to raise awareness and money to help tackle homelessness in the area. So far, the cause has raised about $2,100. That money will support programs for homeless families to transition back into the community. 8:08 as we're waking up across northeast Wisconsin. We're going to head back over to Storm Center 2, but first take a live look out at the finish line. I'm told the first male runner crossed at about 8:05. He's already 3 minutes done, Rebecca. Good morning. Temperatures, as we keep looking at the map, are slowly rising. Green Bay was in the 30s before.
Yeah, and as was Appleton. In fact, just took an email from a viewer, Paul. There's even more reason for everyone to tune in tomorrow because this guy will be in.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I probably would have just picked one.
Along the Information Superhighway, UW Green Bay student Becky Sen considers herself a pretty good navigator.
That's why I try to pick where I'm going. I'm like, is this place kind of sketchy?
We found Becky at Kavarna, a coffee shop in downtown Green Bay. She's here, in the lower left-hand side of your screen. And here's Eric Christensen, just a few tables away.
I mean, he just seemed like a typical businessman that came here.
But Eric, a software engineer, is with us, along with his brother Elliot, the co-founder of Green Bay Net, a web agency in Green Bay.
Been able to trick this into working before.
Alongside a little lunch and coffee.
The hardware you see right here is about $60 to $70.
They've set up their own Wi-Fi network to show how easy a hacker can lure people in.
I am up and running. Awesome.
Yay. Eric and Elliot's Wi-Fi network is called New Kavarna Wi-Fi, very similar to the coffee shop's safe and legitimate one called Free Kavarna Wi-Fi.
So I made mine nice and pretty, camel case letters, capital N on the new, capital K on Kavarna.
I would think like, oh, okay, the free one is probably old, so it says new, so I'd click on the new one.
Once customers start clicking on Eric and Elliot's connection,
if it's plain text, I can get all of that.
Anything they send or receive goes through the brothers.
Then he could make a targeted attack towards you.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
And they do. Within Eric and Elliot's network are fake websites like Facebook. Here's what happens.
So if I am Joe user
When someone tries logging on
at gmail.com and I hit log in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good your password is either.
So it attempts to log in, and it's going to go to this failure page here.
the username and password wasn't sent to Facebook. It was sent to this little box.
As soon as they log into Facebook, I got it. And you can see I started out most of the email address, but this is the joeuser@gmail.com.
In about a half hour on a Saturday afternoon, Eric and Elliot had more than half a dozen usernames and passwords. The program they created automatically erased most characters. Real hackers wouldn't have.
Oh, it's criminal right away. So I mean, if we actually took these, if we collected these passwords and didn't star them out, that's illegal.
The hacking you just witnessed wasn't done in a secret basement or government agency.
It's a credit card sized computer.
It was, as Becky put it, by that typical business guy, a few feet away.
Yeah, that's what I'm having trouble with.
The guys say they could have just as easily created a fake banking website, email, you name it, like they did and you just saw for Facebook. We want to thank Kavarna for allowing this test in their coffee shop. It leads to Eric and Elliot's first tip. Verify and trust the establishment's Wi-Fi. A lot of stores and restaurants post their network's name. And here's another simple tip. Look at the website's name right here. Make sure it has a little security icon and that the letters start with HTTPS. If we bring up Eric and Elliot's Facebook page right here, you can see there is no lock or HTTPS. That's a big warning sign. The guys gave us a few other really simple tips, including which sites are better protected. We've posted all of that information on WBAY.com.